Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris, and you do not realize what this news means. That means at one point in this movie, we might actually get this scene.
I want to play a game.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Earlier in the year, we found out that Chris Rock, the famous comedian, pitched an idea to Lionsgate for a Saw reboot. Whatever he ended up saying for his new idea to reboot Saw, they loved it and started the project right away. It was literally only about 2 months ago that we learned this thing is happening, and now they're starting to shoot in Canada. We have some leaked set photos that might give us an idea what will go down in this movie. Also, 2 casting choices of the people that are going to get tortured to hell by Jigsaw in this movie. And with the information I'm going to share today, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts on what you think of the casting and what these photos could possibly mean. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe. We talk anything and everything movie related here. It's a nice, friendly place. Ain't no one going to show up with a pig mask and kidnap you here. So like I said, Chris Rock is the one that is rebooting this Saw movie. I did a whole video on the details and what could possibly go down. I'll link it in the description or card right above me. But today we learned that Samuel L. Jackson, who's most famously known right now for playing Nick Fury in the MC universe, is going to be one of the leads for this Saw reboot. And not just that, he's going to star alongside Chris Rock himself. So not only did he pitch the idea, he said, hey, put me in it. That's kind of big news, because if you take away Chris Rock for a second, because he's obviously going to be involved in some capacity because he was the one who came up with the idea for this reboot, to have Samuel L. Jackson be in this movie really sort of speaks to the level of quality they're trying to go for with this Saw movie, because we had a Saw reboot in a sense just a few years back with Jigsaw. It was a very low budget, low key movie. There was not even a lot of hype when it was coming out. Heck, it even took me a couple of weeks before I even went to see it. But this time around, the studio is marking this as an event film, that they're gonna market this thing heavily, and it looks like they're putting the money in if they're adding celebrities like Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Because the biggest stars to ever come out of the first movie was Danny Glover, and well, they killed him right away, and Chester Bennington in one of the later Saw movies as just a cameo of the opening. Those are your biggest stars you've ever had in the Saw franchise. Every other person was usually a no-name actor that maybe went on to do something after the Saw movies, but during the release of them, you never had a big draw in star power. I gotta admit though, Samuel Jackson would not have been my first choice to put him in a Saw reboot. Samuel Jackson really has one-dimensional character that yells at you a lot and makes you feel dumb, while adding in a significant amount of curse words to go along with it. Chris Rock as well, we've never seen him in a situation where he's in a horror movie. He's barely even been in a few comedies as of lately. I think what they're gonna go for here is a much like parallel to the very first Saw movie, where the movie's mainly surrounding these 2 guys trapped in a room who find out they're closer than they think because of some mysterious past that Jigsaw is trying to teach them a lesson about. Or my biggest theory here is, did they get Samuel L. Jackson because they want to make him the new Jigsaw? You don't just get big star power like Samuel L. Jackson and use him for one movie. They could be setting him up to somehow be the apprentice of the new Jigsaw, be Jigsaw himself, because this reboot, we just don't know all that much information. We don't know if they're going to keep the lore, if they're gonna ignore it and just say it takes place in the same universe. Some of these photos might help us out with that. Let me go ahead and show you. So these were photos that leaked on Reddit of the set in Toronto, Canada. And before you get all, oh really, Reddit photos, Chris? I mean, Bloody Disgusting is the ones putting this out, and they're pretty reputable with their stuff. Also, the fact that they said that they heard that this was happening in the movie, they just needed some sort of proof, and now they have it. Now with these photos, sadly, we don't get any look of any traps. I was hoping to see some sort of new trap, because you know they're gonna invent new ones. They're not just gonna use the same old ones from the past movies. Maybe 1 or 2, like the Venus flytrap that opens your mouth. That's pretty iconic with the series, but other than that, I have to think they're gonna invent new traps. But this looks like it's gonna be something like of Saw 2, where it's a whole house to themselves. They're trapped inside, and then I guess they're gonna learn things. You obviously have the chair right there where one of them is gonna wake up with a tape right next to them saying, I want to play a game. But the interesting part to me is one of these photos had duct tape written on it saying Saw 9. Now, if we're taking these photos as legitimate and these actually came off the set of this Saw reboot, pretty interesting that they call it Saw 9, because this would be the 9th Saw film to come out. So does this hint to them continuing the continuity of what was going on in the Saw movies? As a huge fan of the Saw movies, even when they started getting crappy in their later sequels, the continuity is so rich, but at the same time super super messy, all over the place, hard to keep track of. Hell, if I want a refresher, I have to watch a YouTube video once a year on this. And if you want to make this a reboot and bring in a new audience, I don't think you're going to want to be like, oh yeah, and you need to watch our past 7 films, understand the lore, the hidden clues we have in there, so you can like this movie more. So they might be getting rid of the continuity, but there might be Easter eggs here and there that are like, you know what, all the stuff you know before, it happened, but this is a different Jigsaw. Other than that, I'm just really curious to see how this is going to turn out. It comes out October 23rd of 2020. We get this next year. More casting might get revealed soon, especially with this leaking out. So let me know what you guys think about this. Are you excited for the Saw reboot? What do you think the casting of Samuel Jackson and Chris Rock as the 2 leads? Also, with these set photos, can you pick out anything or might know what they're hinting at with these photos? It just screams abandoned location, and that pretty reputable with the Saw series. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.